Canada is located in North America, covering over 9.98 million square kilometers or 3.85 million square miles, making it the world's second largest country by total area. This places great demands on the diversity of the trucks that drive in the country. The population of Canada is around 38 million, and despite how huge the country is, around 90% of the population live within 150 miles of the US border. There can therefore be a very long distance between small towns around Canada that must have delivered different goods, and there can be many miles between the stops, which places demands on the truck and the interior of the cabin. The temperatures in Canada vary from region to region. Winters can be harsh in many parts of the country, where daily average temperatures can drop below -40 Celsius. Meanwhile, summer temperatures range from 25 to 30 Celsius. Trucks and truckers in Canada. The most popular semi-trucks in Canada are Peterbilt, Kenworth, Volvo, Freightliner, and International. The market size measured by revenue of the long-distance freight trucking industry in Canada is around $27 billion. According to the Census Bureau, over 230,000 truck drivers work in Canada, and around 35% of them are immigrants. While trucking jobs are generally considered safe, conditions can be hazardous. Occupational categories that include truck drivers experience more than 100 deaths and 25,000 injuries each year. Truckers also face challenges with back problems, fatigue, and loneliness. As a result, they face an extremely high level of personal risk. The number of unfilled positions in the trucking industry in Canada has been growing. During the pandemic, companies have been scrambling to hire more drivers. The latest data indicates that there will be over 34,000 unfilled trucking jobs in Canada by 2024. The shortage of qualified truck drivers has been a major issue for the transportation industry for several years. Several factors have contributed to the current shortage, including regulations and the general lack of interest in the profession. Canada is experiencing a huge shortage of truck drivers. The country's second-largest population is not enough to sustain the country's freight transporting infrastructure, so the government is turning to immigration to help alleviate the shortage. In the next 3 years, Canada plans to add 1 million workers to its economy to fill the resulting void in its labor force. Trucking rules in Canada. Canada has some of the most varied weights and dimensions rules in the world. In Canada, the weight regulation is set by the provinces. Canadian provinces generally govern semi-truck weights by specifying the number of axles and general configuration of the truck. Then, the combination is given a maximum weight that must be followed. There is no national level weight and dimension information that is law across the country. In general, a tandem truck tractor with trailer combination can be 23 meters long, with a box length of maximum 16.2 meters and a wheelbase on the truck of maximum 6.2 meters. Lots of other combinations are possible with other weight and length rules. The speed limit for semi-trucks in Canada is 105 km per hour or 65 miles per hour, but charges are applicable only to those vehicles traveling at speeds of 115 km per hour or greater. Some states require trucks to use speed limiters which reduce the top speed of the vehicle to maximum 105 km per hour. Canada's hours of service regulations dictate how long a driver is allowed to operate his or her vehicle before a mandatory break is required. Drivers are required to keep an accurate log of all on-duty hours to ensure they are abiding by hours of service regulations, including the 13-hour rule, where a truck driver has to complete 8 consecutive hours of off-duty time after 13 hours of driving. The 70-120 rule. A driver must stop driving after accumulating 70 hours of on-duty driving time over 7 consecutive days or 120 hours over 14 consecutive days. Breaches of Canada's Motor Vehicle Transport Act regulations can cost up to $5,000 in individual fees and up to $25,000 in carrier fees. Pay in Canada. Even though some companies promise $70,000 a year, on average, most Canadian truck drivers can realistically expect to earn between $40,000 to $50,000 annually. Many factors determine pay, including experience, driving abilities, language ability, and the province in which you operate your truck. Truck driving in Canada is really quite diverse, with every kind of trucking from ice road trucking to logging, long-haul cross-country work, regional and local work. There are plenty of general freight companies, both large and small, as well as niche trucking such as heavy haul, tanker trucking jobs, flatbed jobs, and oversized freight hauling. About 70% or so of all Canadian trucking is cross-border work in and out of the US. Driving in Canada. In spite of the fact that trucking is so widespread in Canada, the truck stop facilities are few in number, and most of the ones that do exist are substandard. There are a few major truck stops along the Ontario-Quebec 401 corridor and in major city centres, such as Winnipeg, Calgary, and Toronto. Otherwise, they are virtually non-existent on many long expanses of highways. It can be challenging for truckers to find fuel stops and clean shower facilities. When considering the 3,600 miles of highway from the east coast of Canada to the Canadian west coast, truck stops can be as much as several hundred miles apart. Canadian winters and some of the rugged terrain create some very challenging driving for truckers, especially in the mountains. Ice road trucking jobs in northern Canada are a specialized type of trucking which only a small segment of the truck driver population will ever get to experience. Due to the dangerous conditions and the many unique challenges, these risky positions pay more than the average professional driving job in the allotted time. In Canada, statistics from 2018 show that almost 2,000 Canadians were killed each year, and another 10,000 seriously injured in collisions involving a heavy truck, which, among other things, is due to unskilled drivers. That lack of truck drivers forces companies to use unskilled immigrants. Today, around 35% of all truck drivers are immigrants. We hope you liked this and found this video interesting and educational. Which country do you think we should look at next? Let us know down in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for much more.